Are you looking for a capable IEM that doesn't cost too much? If so, then the KZ ED16 is worth considering. Hey, what is up YouTube? Noetic Noel here, and welcome to the Sonic Sweep series, where I take an in-depth look at in-ear monitors and headphones to find out if they are worth buying. The KZ ED16 is an IEM that sports a 3-driver unit composed of 2 balanced armatures and 1 dynamic driver. Its multiple driver setup allows various frequency bands of sound to be reproduced separately, which results in better sound quality. The mids and highs are handled by the balanced armatures, whereas bass is taken care of by the dynamic driver. So, what does the KZ ED16 sound like? Well, it's got a fairly V-shaped response that places firm emphasis on treble. Bass is quite light and is not too boomy. It still exhibits a good sense of energy, however. Bass heads will be better served by more bass-oriented IEMs. The overall sound signature of this IEM can be described as lively, yet somewhat analytical. Sibilance can be moderately heard and is kept in check, but it may be highly aggressive on bright and or highly compressed tracks. The drivers and other internals of the ED16 are enclosed by a glossy plastic housing that is of above average quality. The level of build quality present in the ED16 is good enough, considering its relatively inexpensive price. Also, it is durable, for despite having withstood quite a few accidental drops, my pair is still functional. However, I strongly advise against dropping the plastic shells. This is to avoid any potential damage to the IEM's drivers and other internals. What about comfort? Well, the level of comfort on offer is great but falls short of spectacular. This is mainly due to the stock tips included in the box. Although they get the job done and provide good sound quality, they are hardly comfortable to use and may prove to be irritating for some ears after prolonged usage. As for the plastic shells, they fit snugly in the ear and do not cause discomfort even after having them on for extended periods of time. The ED16 has a comparatively smaller build and footprint than, say, the ZSD, as well as other competing offerings in its price range. This means that those with smaller ears will have a great fit and seal with it. Likewise, even those with larger ears will find the ED16 an IEM that fits great in the ear. Much like comfort, isolation is an aspect where the ED16's delivery proved to be quite mid-pack. The isolation provided by the KZ ED16 is mediocre at low volumes, decent at medium volumes, and great at high volumes. In comparison, KZ's entry-level ZS3 provides much better isolation even at low and medium volumes, and as such, outperforms the ED16 in this regard. To evaluate the KZ ED16's bass response, I have listened to a track entitled Sweet Shining Shooting Star, composed by Prove. With this test track as a reference, bass is rich and is present in the right amount. It doesn't overpower the rest of the track. Given the right volume, the opening bass line in Sweet Shining Shooting Star will sound impactful and give listeners a bit of a shock. Overall, bass on the ED16 has a deep rumble on tracks where it is present. Although it doesn't tend to surround the sonic image, it can be easily heard. As a whole, it is quite light and not too overpowering. Next, let's tackle the mid-range. To find out how good the ED16's mid-range is, I have listened to 4 test tracks from Pitch Perfect 1 and 2, Bella's Regionals and Bella's Finals by the Bardin Bellas, as well as Treble's Finals and Lollipop by the Treble Makers. Judging by how these tracks sound, Female vocals on the ED16 are handled with finesse and shine through superbly. Male vocals are also rendered well and have excellent body, but it's important to note that they cannot match the liveliness and directness of their female counterparts. All in all, mids on the ED16 sounded fun and lively, despite being a bit recessed as opposed to both ends of the spectrum. Finally, there's the question of treble response and how well the ED16 performs in this regard. To get a firm grasp of the quality of the ED16's treble, I have made use of two treble-heavy tracks, Never Enough by Lauren Allred and Hikaru Nara by Goose House. Treble on both tracks is vivid, clear, and sharp. The shrillness of the high notes sung by Lauren Allred in Never Enough is conveyed with commendable precision and fluidity. It wasn't ear-piercing in any way. In addition, the ED16 had no difficulty revealing the subtle nuances of Lauren Allred's vocals. On the other front, the bright aura of Hikaru Nara was perfectly recreated, from the sizzle of the cymbals, to the zesty crunch of the electric guitar, and to the grainy layered vocals of the Goose House singers. In general, treble has a lustrous sparkle that does not sound fatiguing. It expertly merges with the rest of the spectrum to create a coherent listening experience. Next, let's focus on detail retrieval. For me, detail retrieval is one of the most important aspects that an IEM needs to excel in. As someone who likes to listen to music critically, I prefer IEMs that sound detailed and have an analytical sound signature. Detail lovers, you're in for a treat. After listening to it for 1 week, I'm very happy to report that the ED16 is one detailed sounding IEM. Let's go into more detail as to why that is, pun not intended. Due to its analytical sound signature, the ED16 is capable of revealing some of the micro details present in a track. It is skilled at presenting the subtle nuances of vocals and instruments. However, where it falls short on is being able to faithfully reproduce music, because it is quite forgiving of poorly mastered material. This means that poorly mastered and or highly compressed music will sound fine to casual listeners and even trained ears most of the time. This is not a bad thing. But if what you're looking for in an IEM is its ability to make you hear the music as the artist intended or as it was recorded, then I'm afraid that the ED16 will disappoint you a little. On the flip side, this gives the listener the advantage of being able to enjoy good listening experiences, even with subpar audio material. How good is the stereo image created by the ED16? Well, imaging on the ED16 is superb. Listeners will be able to determine the exact location and placement of each and every component of the track in the soundstage, such as vocals and instruments. The IEM combines vocals and instruments to create a coherent image that hardly becomes a blur, even with the most complex of tracks. The ED16 provides great instrument separation. Each and every instrument can be perceived to be emanating from a definitive spot in the soundstage. This makes it easy for the listener to pick out even a single instrument from the collection of instruments distributed and separated across the soundstage. This holds true even for complex tracks. The ED16 has a good sense of space and offers a spacious soundstage, making tracks come to life. Vocals and instruments have depth and appear to be influenced by the nature of the room in which the music was recorded. Overall, it is capable of making the listener feel as if they are in a front row seat in the hall where the performance is unfolding. Pricing details for the ED16 are shown on screen. With everything said and done, we are faced with the question, is the KZ ED16 worth it? Well, the answer to that is a resounding yes. However, base heads will be better served by other options, such as the cheaper entry-level KZ ZS3, so keep that in mind. That's all for this review. This has been Noetic Noel for Sonic Suite. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.